My brother cut me off after meeting his fiancée. Now he says I'm not family anymore. I'm a 27-year-old woman, and until recently, my older brother Adam was my best friend. We grew up inseparable, sharing inside jokes, covering for each other with our parents, spending every holiday side by side. Even when life got messy, Adam was my anchor. He was the one person I thought would always be in my corner. That all changed the day he introduced me to his new fiancée, Claire. The first time I met her, something in my gut twisted. She was polite enough, but her smile never reached her eyes. She had this way of looking at me like I was an intruder, like my presence at Adam's side was inconvenient. I brushed it off at first. I told myself I was being paranoid, protective. Adam was in love, and maybe she just needed time to warm up. But it wasn't just me. My parents noticed it too. At dinners, she'd monopolize every conversation, cutting me off whenever I tried to speak. She'd roll her eyes when Adam and I shared old family stories, as if our bond was childish. Once, when I laughed too loudly at a memory, she muttered under her breath, "You two are a little too close." I should have seen it coming. Within months, Adam started pulling away. Texts unanswered. Calls ignored. When I finally cornered him about it, he sighed and said, "Claire thinks we need boundaries. I need to focus on my new family now." New family. Those words hit me like a knife. We were his family. I was his family. And then, 2 weeks ago, it got worse. During a heated conversation, Adam looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You're not family anymore. Claire is my family now. You're just my sister. Just my sister." 12 years of being each other's lifeline, erased in a single sentence. And as much as it broke me, I realized something chilling. Claire didn't just want Adam for herself. She wanted to erase me completely. Before Claire came into the picture, Adam wasn't just my brother, he was my best friend, my safe place. We grew up in a small town where friends came and went, but Adam and I had each other. He's 3 years older than me, and when I was little, I idolized him. He taught me how to ride a bike, how to sneak cookies past Mom, how to stand up for myself when kids at school picked on me. When our parents fought during those rough years, Adam would sneak into my room and tell me stories until I fell asleep. He promised me, over and over, "It's you and me against the world." That phrase became our mantra. Even as adults, we'd texted to each other during bad days. When I went to college, he drove 3 hours just to move me in, carrying boxes up endless flights of stairs until his shirt was soaked through with sweat. When he had a brutal breakup, I let him crash on my couch for weeks, listening to his rants, cooking him dinner, reminding him he wasn't alone. That was us, a team. Always. So when he first introduced Claire at a family barbecue, I expected to welcome her with open arms. I wanted to like her. Adam looked at her like she hung the moon, and all I wanted was for him to be happy. But the tension started immediately. She shook my hand with this grip that was just a little too firm, her eyes scanning me up and down like she was sizing me up. At first I thought it was nerves, but throughout the night, I noticed how she bristled every time Adam laughed at one of my jokes. When I brought up a story from our childhood, she interrupted with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "You two really talk about the past a lot, huh? Don't you think it's time to grow up?" I laughed it off, but Adam's smile faltered. That was the first time I saw him hesitate when he laughed with me. The weeks that followed were subtle, but looking back, I see the pattern. Adam used to call me every other day, just to chat about work or ask if I'd seen some new movie. Suddenly, those calls stopped. When I texted, the replies took longer, then shorter, until they dried up completely. When I confronted him, he said he was busy. Then Mom mentioned Claire had pulled her aside after dinner one night. "Adam needs to focus on his future," she'd said, her tone sweet but sharp. "He can't be tied down to old family routines forever. He has to build something new, with me." It wasn't just about making space for her. It was about pushing us out. At the next family dinner, I tried to joke with Adam like always. "Remember when you ate that entire jar of pickles and puked in the pool?" He started to laugh, but Claire cut him off with, "Oh, please, that's disgusting. Why do you encourage this? And Adam went quiet, like someone had pulled a string in his back. That was when I realized it wasn't just about me being his sister. Claire wanted to rewrite Adam's entire story, to erase the version of him that included me, our parents, our childhood. She wanted to be his only family. And little by little, Adam let her. So when he told me, point blank, that I wasn't family anymore, I shouldn't have been shocked. But hearing it from his mouth shattered something in me. Because I didn't just lose my brother that day. I lost my best friend, my partner in crime, my other half. And deep down, I knew, it wasn't really him saying it. It was Claire's voice, whispering through his lips. The first real explosion happened 3 months after Adam's engagement. Until then, I had tried to bite my tongue, to stay polite when Claire made her passive-aggressive remarks or when Adam avoided me. I told myself, he's blinded by love. Once things settle down, he'll realize what's happening. But it only got worse. Claire inserted herself into every family gathering, not just as Adam's partner but as if she was the new matriarch. At Thanksgiving, she decided where everyone would sit. At Christmas, she suggested we stop our family tradition of exchanging goofy handmade gifts because it was immature. And Adam backed her every single time. The final straw came at my mom's birthday dinner. It was supposed to be a simple night, just our parents, Adam, me, and Claire. I even made the cake Mom loves, the same one Adam and I used to bake together as kids. I thought maybe the nostalgia would bring us closer again. But the moment I brought it out, Claire wrinkled her nose. That's cute. But Adam and I actually don't eat that kind of thing anymore. We're trying to be healthier. I forced a smile. It's Mom's favorite. It's tradition. Before Adam could even speak, Claire leaned forward, her tone saccharine but sharp. You really cling to the past, don't you? Maybe that's why you can't let Adam go. The words hit me like a slap. The table went silent. Mom froze with her fork halfway to her mouth. Dad stared at his plate. I felt the heat rise in my face. Excuse me? Claire smiled sweetly. You act like Adam belongs to you. Like he's still your little sidekick. But he's a grown man. He has his own family now, me. Maybe it's time you accepted that. I turned to Adam, waiting, begging, for him to defend me. For him to tell her she was out of line. For him to remind her that being his fiancée didn't erase the decades we had as siblings. But Adam just looked at me with tired eyes and said, she's right. Things are different now. You need to respect that. My chest tightened like a vice. Respect what? That you've completely cut me out? That you can't laugh with me anymore without her permission? That you're letting her erase me from your life? Adam's jaw clenched. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Claire is my priority now. If you can't handle that, then maybe you shouldn't be around. I stared at him, my own brother, the boy who once told me it was us against the world. Now, he was looking at me like I was the problem, not the woman who was systematically dismantling our bond. I looked at Mom and Dad, searching for backup. But they were frozen, caught between their children, terrified of choosing sides. And in that silence, I realized, Adam had already chosen. Claire leaned back in her chair, victorious, her hand resting possessively on his. See? He's not your shadow anymore. He's mine. I stood up, my hands shaking. If that's how you want it, Adam, fine. But don't expect me to pretend this is normal. Don't expect me to smile while she cuts me out of my own family. I left before the tears spilled, before I let them see how broken I felt. That night, Adam texted me a single message, you embarrassed Mom. Don't come to the engagement party if you can't behave. Behave. As if defending myself against being erased was bad behavior, I stared at the screen until the words blurred, and in that moment, I knew I had truly lost him. Not to an accident, not to time, but to Claire's control. And the worst part? He didn't even see it. The engagement party was supposed to be a celebration, but for me, it felt like walking straight into enemy territory. I almost didn't go. After Adam's text telling me not to come if I couldn't behave, every instinct screamed at me to stay home. But my parents begged me. Please, Mom said softly. If you don't come, it'll look like you've given up on him completely. And the truth was, I hadn't. A small part of me still believed I could reach him, that maybe if he saw me in a room full of people who loved him, he'd remember who we were before Claire poisoned everything. So I went. The party was held in a rented hall decorated with white roses and fairy lights, Claire's fingerprints all over it. She flitted around in a designer dress, her hand glued to Adam's arm like she was showing off her prize. Adam looked tired but happy in that dazed way, smiling whenever she tugged at his sleeve, laughing at her every joke. When I walked in, conversations dimmed. A few people smiled politely, others avoided my eyes. Word had clearly spread about the scene at Mom's birthday dinner. Claire made sure of that. Adam spotted me across the room. For a moment, his face softened, just a flicker, like the old Adam was peeking through. But then Claire leaned in, whispered something in his ear, and his expression hardened. I tried to mingle, to smile, to pretend like I belonged there. But it was impossible. Every time I approached Adam, Claire found a way to wedge herself between us. If I asked him about work, she'd chirp, "Oh, he doesn't like to talk about boring things at parties." If I tried to bring up a childhood memory, she'd roll her eyes, "Here we go again with the past." By the time dinner was served, my chest felt tight, my throat raw from holding back tears. Then came the speeches. Claire's father stood first, droning on about how proud he was of his daughter, how lucky Adam was to join their family. Then Claire herself took the mic, her voice sweet but sharp as glass. "Adam and I are building something new," she said, her eyes sweeping the room before landing on me. "Marriage is about creating your own family, not being chained to the past. Some people don't understand that yet, but they will." Laughter. Applause. And Adam, smiling proudly beside her, nodding along. I wanted to walk out. But before I could, Adam took the microphone. He looked right at me when he said it, "Claire is my family now. She's the person I choose, the person I prioritize. Blood doesn't automatically mean loyalty. If anyone here can't respect that, then maybe they're not really family at all." The room went silent. I felt every eye on me, waiting for me to react. My heart was pounding so loud it drowned out the clinking of glasses and the low murmur of whispers. I stood slowly, my hands trembling. "You mean me, don't you?" Adam didn't flinch. "If the shoe fits." My voice cracked. "After everything we've been through? After all those years of saying it was us against the world, now you're standing here telling me I'm not family?" Claire slid her hand into his and smirked. "He doesn't need to say it twice." The dam broke. "Fine," I snapped, my voice shaking. "If that's how you see me, then congratulations, you've succeeded, Claire. You've gotten exactly what you wanted. Enjoy your new family. I hope it keeps you warm when you realize what you've lost." I stormed out before the tears fell, my heels clicking against the tile like gunshots. Behind me, I heard murmurs, chairs scraping, someone calling my name, maybe Mom, maybe Dad, but I didn't stop. Outside, the cold air hit me like a slap. I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel, sobbing so hard I could barely breathe. My brother, the person who once promised me forever loyalty, had just erased me from his life in front of everyone. And as much as I wanted to hate Claire, the truth that broke me was this: Adam made the choice. He let her pull the strings. He looked me in the eye and cut the cord himself. That night, I went home and deleted his contact from my phone. I couldn't bear to see his name anymore. But even as I tried to erase him, the pain lingered. Because how do you erase your own brother? The days after the engagement party felt like mourning a death. Except it wasn't just Adam I was grieving, it was the entire idea of who I thought we were. I didn't eat much, I didn't sleep much. I replayed his words over and over, "Maybe you're not really family at all." I avoided my phone at first, too raw to face anyone. But eventually, the calls and texts became impossible to ignore. Mom left voicemails through tears, "Sweetheart, please, don't give up on your brother. He didn't mean it the way it sounded. He's under a lot of pressure. Dad was angrier. I don't know what's gotten into him. That girl, she's got him by the throat. But he's still your brother. Don't let her win by tearing you two apart. It was easy for them to say. They hadn't been the one humiliated in front of an entire room, told to their face they weren't family anymore. When I finally answered Mom's call, her voice cracked with desperation. He's not himself. It's Claire. She's changing him. I swallowed hard. No, Mom. He made the choice. He looked me in the eye and said it. Claire didn't force those words out of his mouth, he said them. There was a silence, then a soft sob. I don't want to lose either of you. I hung up with a pit in my stomach. Because that's what this had become, a tug-of-war. Adam and Claire pulling one way, me pulling the other, our parents in the middle, stretched thin until something had to snap. The following weekend, Adam called me. I didn't expect it, I almost didn't answer. But a small part of me still wanted to believe maybe he regretted it. Hey, he said flatly. No warmth, no familiarity. I waited. I just wanted to make things clear, he continued. Claire and I are moving forward with our lives. If you can't support that, then you shouldn't be part of it. I don't need negativity. I don't need drama. And I don't need people who don't respect my choices. My voice shook. I never disrespected you, Adam. I questioned her, because she's isolating you. Because she's making you cut us out. He snapped then, sharper than I'd ever heard. This isn't about her. This is about you. You've always needed me too much. You've always tried to keep me tied to you. I'm done with that. Claire's my family now. You're just my sister. That's all, just my sister. Again, those words. Like I was a stranger on a family tree instead of the girl who once cried in his arms when Dad lost his job, the girl he promised to protect forever. Then I guess we're done, I whispered. He didn't argue. He didn't soften. He just said, I guess we are, and hung up. I sat there with the phone pressed to my ear long after the line went dead, my chest hollow. The fallout rippled quickly. Family group chats went silent. When I visited my parents, Mom tried to tiptoe around Adam's absence, while Dad's anger simmered louder each day. At one Sunday dinner, Dad muttered, if he thinks she's worth more than blood, then he can live with that mistake. But I knew Dad's words were just armor. Deep down, both of them were breaking. And that guilt sat heavy on me. Because if I walked away completely, it would tear our parents apart. If I stayed, I risked being humiliated over and over by Adam and Claire. Meanwhile, Claire made sure to twist the knife deeper. Photos from their new family traditions started appearing on social media, captioned with things like, when you build your own family, you learn who really matters. In one, Adam smiled at the camera with his arm around her parents, the caption reading, family isn't always blood. It felt deliberate, like every post was aimed at me. A reminder that I'd been replaced, erased. By then, even the neighbors were whispering. One of them pulled me aside at the grocery store. I heard about the party, she said softly. I'm so sorry. It's cruel what he said. I smiled weakly, but inside, shame burned hot. Adam had turned our private bond into a public humiliation. That night, lying awake, I realized something brutal. Maybe I couldn't save him. Maybe I had to save myself instead. Because trying to hold on to Adam was like clinging to someone already walking away, and all it was doing was dragging me down with him. I debated for weeks whether to even attend. Part of me wanted to stay home, to avoid another scene, another chance for Adam and Claire to humiliate me. But Mom begged me to go. If you don't, people will say you abandoned him, she whispered. Maybe if he sees you there, it'll remind him. So I went. Against my better judgment, I went. The venue was a small country estate, draped in white silk and flowers, Claire's vision of a perfect beginning. From the moment I stepped in, I felt eyes on me. Guests whispered, their glances sharp, as though they already knew I was the estranged sister. Claire had probably told them her version of the story, one where I was jealous, needy, toxic. I kept my head high, but my stomach churned. The ceremony itself was beautiful on the surface: music, laughter, polished smiles. But when Adam walked down the aisle, something in me cracked. He looked happy, but not the carefree, goofy happiness I remembered. It was rehearsed, stiff, like every step had been scripted by Claire. When the officiant asked, "Who gives this woman to be married?" Claire's parents stood proudly. But when the vows began, Claire slipped in a line that felt like a dagger aimed straight at me. "I vow to put our family above all others. To choose us, always, even when others try to hold you back." Her eyes flicked toward me. Smug. Triumphant. After the kiss, after the applause, after the photos, I tried to slip away quietly. But fate, or maybe cruelty, had other plans. At the reception, Claire tapped a glass for attention. "We just want to thank everyone for being here," she cooed, "especially those who support us no matter what. Marriage is about building something new, and sometimes that means leaving behind things, or people, that no longer serve your future." The room chuckled politely. Adam laughed too. And then, with the microphone in his hand, he said it. "I only want people in my life who lift me up. Claire is my family now. If others can't respect that, then they're not really my family." There it was. In front of 100 people. My brother erased me again. Something in me snapped. I stood up. Chairs scraped, conversations hushed, my voice trembled but carried across the room. "You keep saying I'm not family. But who was there when Dad lost his job? Who covered for you when you crashed Mom's car? Who held you after your first heartbreak? Who sat with you in the ER when you broke your arm? Me. Not her. Me." Adam froze, his smile faltering. Claire's face twisted with fury. "I was your family long before she came along," I continued, my throat burning. "But you've made your choice. So fine. Enjoy your new family. But don't you dare rewrite history and pretend I was never there." The silence was deafening. Then I walked out, tears streaming, my heels echoing against the marble floor. That was the last time I saw him. Weeks later, I got a message. Short, cold, final: "Don't contact me again. Claire and I don't want you in our lives. You're toxic. Stay away." I stared at the screen until the letters blurred. My brother. My best friend. My other half. Gone. Mom still cries about it, Dad still mutters that Adam will wake up one day. But me? I don't know. I don't know if the Adam I grew up with even exists anymore. Maybe he died the moment Claire walked in. Now, when people ask if I have siblings, I hesitate. Because I do. But I don't. And the cruelest part? He's still out there, breathing, laughing, living a life I'll never be part of. Not because death stole him from me. But because he chose to cut me out himself. That's a different kind of grief, one I don't know if I'll ever get over.
Follow me for more stories.